Hello guys, do you really want to crush your opponent's Queen's Gambit opening? Are you tired of falling victim to the Queen's Gambit? If the answer is yes, then discover the devastating Lasker Trap. Turn the tables and punish your opponent with this nasty trap. In this video, I will reveal the secrets of the Lasker Trap, a powerful tactic that can leave your opponent helpless. So watch the video till to end and don't let your opponents get away with the Queen's Gambit. Arm yourself with the Lasker Trap and dominate the board. Hello my dear friends, hope you all be fine and doing well. Thank you so much for joining me again. Thank you so much for joining in your channel. My dear friends, in today's video, I am going to show you a secret that how you can play against the Queen's Gambit. Especially in this video, you are using a technique called the Lasker Trap. Especially, you are punishing your opponent when he is deciding to play the Queen's Gambit. So my dear friends, without wasting the time, let's get started the game. In this game, your opponent is simply pushing the pawn into d4. And you are just simply pushing the pawn into d5. Now your opponent is pushing the pawn into c4. And this is called the Queen's Gambit. In this position, your opponent is sacrificing one of his pawn. And the reason behind this move, when you are capturing this pawn, so your opponent is pushing the pawn into e4. Now your opponent is attacking, and also with his pawn, your opponent controlled all the center. So therefore, this is a very good idea behind Queen's Gambit. And majority of the players, when they are playing the Queen's Gambit, they can bring too much pressure on their opponents. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to play against Queen's Gambit. Especially, there are lots of other openings that you can play. One of the opening is pushing the pawn into e6. It is called the Queen's Gambit decline. You are not capturing the pawn, instead you are pushing your pawn, and also in this way you will have a very good and solid game. But let me show you the Lasker Trap, that how you should surprise your opponent and punish him severely. In this position, you just push the pawn into e5. In this position, your opponent is completely confused because he didn't expect this move. It is also a new thing for you. And majority of the chess players, when you are pushing the pawn into e5, they will be surprised. And their expectation is not like this. But you are confusing your opponent. So the best move for your opponent is capturing the pawn. Now my dear friends, you have this option to capture the pawn. But the best move is pushing the pawn into d4. Now you push the pawn into d4. And see my dear friends, you control these squares by your pawn. Now your opponent cannot activate his knight. So it is a very critical situation for your opponent. Especially in this position, your opponent has best moves. One of the best moves of your opponent is pushing the pawn, and other move of your opponent is taking the knight. But sometimes it is happening, your opponent is confused about your pawn. So in this position, this is also a natural move some of the players doing, and that is pushing the pawn into e3. And now you are getting close to the Lasker Trap, that you are following your opponent in this trap. So when your opponent is pushing the pawn into e3, he wants to exchange your pawn. For example, if you capture the pawn, so he is capturing your queen and giving a check. When you are capturing the queen, so now your opponent is simply capturing the pawn. This is the idea behind pushing the pawn from your opponent's side. But in this position, you are again surprising your opponent. In this position, you are not capturing your opponent's pawn. Instead of that, you have the best move, and that is giving a brilliant check by your bishop. When you are giving this check, your opponent cannot cover this check by his knight, because you are simply capturing the knight by your pawn. So this is not a good idea. And also, in case if your opponent decides to capture this check by his knight in this way, by taking his knight into d2, in this position, you have this brilliant move. and that is capturing the pawn. When your opponent captures your pawn, so see my dear friends, you damage the pawn structure of your opponent, and also you can play the best game against your opponent. But especially this thing is not happening. So what is happening? When you are giving this check, so majority of the players, they are thinking simply, and the natural move for them is to taking their bishop into d2. So what is the reason behind your opponent's move that he covered the check by his bishop? Because your opponent is now threatening your bishop and also giving this chance for you to exchange the bishops. But in here, by his surprise, you have another base move, and that is capturing the pawn. Your opponent cannot capture this pawn by his bishop because you pinned the bishop by your bishop, and your opponent cannot move his bishop. In this position, your opponent has two options. The first one is capturing your pawn. In this position also, see my dear friends, you damaged your opponent's pawn structure. So you can exchange your bishop and you can play the game smoothly. But there is another option also for your opponent, and that is capturing your bishop for free. So what happens if he captures your bishop? So in this position, see my dear friends, your opponent also has attack to your queen, and you have this option to capture the queen. But in here, the base move is coming, and that is capturing the pawn and giving a fantastic check to your opponent. In this position, your opponent cannot capture the pawn because you are attacking to your opponent's queen. So you are simply capturing the queen. So when you are capturing the queen, so there is not any option for your opponent to continue the game. So therefore, he has another option as well. In this position, your opponent is not ready to lose his queen. So he is taking his king into e2. Keep in mind, my dear friends, when you are playing, if you reach in this position, some of the players, they are seeing the check by their bishop and they think that they can capture the queen. But in this position, your opponent has this base move. In one way, he is saving his knight from your pawn's attack. From other hand, now he is not in a big trouble. So therefore, you should keep in mind for every move. Also keep in mind that some of the players making this mistake, and that is capturing and taking a queen. So in this position, your opponent has this best option. First, your opponent is capturing your queen and giving you check when you are capturing the queen. So now he is easily capturing your queen. This is also good for black. And the best move is not to do like this. And what is the best move? Let me show you. So in this position, my dear friends, you have this brilliant move, and that is capturing your as a knight and give a fantastic check to your opponent. In this position, your opponent has to move his king. If he move his king, so you can easily capture the queen. So in this way, your opponent is not moving his king because he doesn't want to lose his queen easily. So therefore, for solving this problem, your opponent is capturing your knight. So now it is your turn and you have the best move. Can you find it, my dear friends? Yes, definitely. The best move is giving a check by your bishop. So when you are giving this check, so your opponent now has not that chance to cover this check by his knight as you captured the knight. So now in here, wherever your opponent's move, so you can simply capture the queen. You can simply capture the queen and end the game. So thank you so much, my dear friends, for watching this fantastic video, and I hope you enjoyed from watching this video. If you like the video and the contents that I'm making, please subscribe the channel, share it with your friends and family members. In this way, you are motivating me to make lots of good videos in the future.